Hello there. Welcome to the Kirk Minahan wrap-up show for June 8th, 2022. Today's show coming clean. Dave Cullinane admitted that Kirk even tried to back him off at one point, but Dave Cullinane admits that he did in fact know what he was getting into at said bachelor party. But Dave Cullinane admits that he did in fact know what he was getting into at said bachelor party. I have my Twitter tab open. My apologies. He knew what he was getting into at said bachelor party, going to the massage parlor with the table shower, and that I don't even think was the most interesting part of the story. I'm joined today by Red from Maine. Red, the Reddit guy from KMS. Red hosts his very own solo Minifan wrap-up show, Minifandom.
Listen, are we going to continue? We got to, Justin, we can admit that Menners exists. Can we not? Are we going to not do that? Are you going to?
I don't know. Menners is a strange man. I mean,
you guys got to get back together, man.
As long as
got a beautiful friendship.
Listen. As long as my boss is going to not acknowledge the existence of a person, if there is, I'm going to continue down that line. I don't feel like I'm in a position to go against what Kirk does. But no, check out Minifandom. Red,
please,
does a great job.
Thank you so much, Justin. Wherever you can find podcasts, please search Minifandom. We are there. I'm there. I host a great show. Occasionally I have a guest on there. And we love the Kirk Minahan show. And I promise you this, Justin, we will never, ever try to monetize Minifandom ever. There will be no Twitch. There will be nothing. There will be no separate podcast where we turn into something else talking about sobriety. Not going to happen, my friend. So thank you for having me here today.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate you coming on. So let's jump right into it. So it kind of started off today. Kirk and Dave, even before Kirk even pressed him on it, Dave was like, yeah, it was bullshit. It was like, Dave, to save his own reputation, he had to come out and say it. Because I don't know if a man could be that stupid to be out at a bachelor party, going to pregame before going to a bar, going to pregame at a massage parlor. You would have to be the stupidest human being alive to not know what would be going on.
I believed him. I had to believe him. I thought this was real. I thought he got abused. I thought he didn't know what he was doing, what was going on. But if you listen closely, Justin, listen, I'm no simp for Dave Cullinane. I'm just a fair
Of course.
guy. If you listen to what he's telling us, he still got molested in there. He said no. He did not want this.
Okay. So I don't mean to victim blame here.
And no means no. No means no.
Correct. I don't know if he said no in said situation. I would to go from yesterday, he has no idea what was going on, and she slapped at it a bit. That's what he said. That's what he said on Monday. He slapped at it a bit, and then he was like, what is going on? And things started connecting in his head to now suddenly he happened, but halfway through he said no. I don't think the woman is in a pressuring situation where like she really wants to do it. I feel like I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe no was said. But I feel like in that situation, if you're like, you know what, not today, they're not going to be like, oh man, like, are you sure? I really, really, really want to jerk off my 35th guy today.
Well, this is a simple business transaction, right? Like when you're selling your snow cones, you're not going to just sell the $20 snow cone, my friend. You're going to advise and give them the $25 snow cone. So she's not going to just sit there for just the massage. She's there for the whole thing.
That's my go-to line when someone wants a $20 one. I go, this one lights up, and the kids always go like, oh, and bam, upsell, baby.
Off to the race. Yeah, that's what you got to do. That's. But, she's a great business person in that move. You got to do it.
I'm sure, and I mean, like I said, to kind of like save his own reputation, because it was like I did believe him at one point because I like Dave, but then you just put two and two together, and you're like, me, like, to just be like, how did I end up in this situation at a massage parlor in Providence to pregame, which I still think might be the funniest part, is that they went there like before the bar, like, you know what we should do? Like, it's not like it was like 2 p.m. or something. It was like, I think Dave said it was like 6 or 7. You go pregame. He went to go get jerked off at a massage parlor, and then He
It's
said,
a move. It's a move. I
it
don't
is a
know.
move. It is a move. It's not one I've been a part of. It's not one I would definitely not be a part of. But to hear him say that that was a wild night, it was, I think he said 2008, which I forget. How old does Dave say he is?
Oh, he's definitely 34, 35. He's in there, right? So
Okay, so he's 35. So he was like 20, 21, 20, 22 at this. I mean, at a bachelor party. I mean, maybe.
It's his first rub and tug. We'll give him that. It's had to have
Yes,
been his
I
first
definitely do think that that was probably his first experience because that was the one he went to. But then he says that he also fell in love with a stripper that night, which we've all we've all gone down that way. You want to talk about the queens of upselling? They're the best at upselling and making you feel like,
Many a champagne room we've been
of
in.
course,
This has
of
happened.
course, of course.
Absolutely.
And then he said he got shots fired at him, which he then at one point called joke shots, which I think the correct wording he was trying to go for was warning shots, not joke shots.
Sure.
Because warning shots are a thing. It's to let someone know you have a gun. Bang, bang. Oh shit, he has a gun, but he's not trying to hit anyone. Joke shots, on the other hand, would be like, hey, like let's I found my dad's gun. Let's shoot it off a couple of times because it would be funny. So I just think that the terminology joke shots is very funny, and I'm also of the impression too that this probably also didn't happen. I think that if I believe,
Are you calling him a liar?
I am calling him a liar in this situation.
Wow.
I do believe that. I believe it was Visionless Dave said this on Twitter, that if Steve had said that he went to a bachelor party and he was in a window, he was in a limo and some guy cut him off, and then the driver and the other driver exchanged gunshots with each other, there would have been bullshit called in a second.
Listen,
from the fans.
I don't like whataboutism. That's my only issue with that. Like I can't look at that and say, well, if Steve was in the situation, Dave Cullinane's his own man. He's an individual. He's a peacock. You got to let him fly. Okay, so I trust what he's telling us. Does he struggle with words occasionally? Sometimes. Sometimes that happens. Sure he does. He drops a few shores in there too. He repeats himself. But who among us has not been on the spot? He's uncomfortable. I appreciate that he's sharing. He's giving more, and Kirk's pulling that out of him. That's exactly what we want from our producer here, Justin. This is great.
I agree. So yeah, so I don't know. I like it, gun to your head. Okay, filled with a bunch of funny rounds. It's fully loaded with. Did
warning shots?
Did Dave Cullinane get fired at that night?
I say yes.
You do.
I'm saying yes. I ride with Dave Cullinane. I believe him. I believe him. I believed him last time, and I'm believing him this time. I'm riding with Dave Cullinane. He's given me no reason not to trust him. No reason.
Besides the whole thing about last show, him saying that he.
No, but again, he said no. He said no.
Maybe. I mean, I feel like if he said no in that situation, it doesn't happen.
I mean, Justin, we're not going to argue about this here. No means no.
I agree. I agree. If I'm ever with someone and they say no, but if someone comes to me, pays me money, and then they say no, of course, I'm not going to be continuing.
He's a survivor.
Let's see what else. Little music played today early on in the show. I'm actually surprised at Kirk's. I love the Chainsmokers. I don't know if you're a big Chainsmokers guy. Red.
I love the Chainsmokers.
They're fantastic. There was a point in my life when I was like 20, I would listen to the song "Closer" by the Chainsmokers like on repeat, like for like 8 hours a day. It was not a healthy time in my life, but it was a time in my life nonetheless. So to hear Kirk say that the song of the past decade is something just like this by the Chainsmokers and Coldplay, kind of warmed my heart.
I've heard him reference this song before.
He has.
He is a Chainsmokers fan. It's the only Coldplay song. There's not many Coldplay songs I can listen to. I can get down to the Chainsmokers. I mean, I don't like to yuck anybody else's yum. They have some good pop songs. You got to play those hits. I enjoy them very much. It's odd to hear Kirk sing that. It's just very weird. Usually we've gotten a lot of Bob Seger on there, which has been great. Obviously Springsteen, Tom Petty. Kirk going more current with this with Harry Styles too. This is a nice little side. I'd like a little bit more. Like, give us some more here. What else is he listening to in the car? You know, like, what else we got going on here for pop hits?
Also, I mean, I don't want to pick on Dave, but at one point,
of course
I believe we're talking about Harry Styles. Kirk goes, I believe Harry's a they, which I could see why someone would assume that, given Harry Styles, the way he dresses himself. I looked it up. Harry recently said in an interview he does go by he, him, and his sexuality. He kind of likes to. He's like, he doesn't feel like he needs to address it. But I like how when Kirk goes, I think he's a they, and Dave's like, yeah, he'll get massages from anyone. He'll get massages from penis, vagina. It's like, oh, Dave.
I like that this is Dave's, like, this is how he just, his tent pole and how he measures people and their sexuality is what's your pronouns and who are you getting a massage from? That's it. Like, that's how you can break somebody down to the bare bones of who they are as a person is. What's your pronoun? Oh, that's who you get a massage from. Okay, that's good. And by the way, did I hear that you've never gotten a massage before?
I've gotten the only massage I've gotten is I had like a water massage when I was in Vegas one day. One time I was in Vegas.
What's a water massage?
It's like you get inside this machine and they like shoot water like at your back, but it's like you're inside like kind of like this like tubing so you don't get wet. I've never had a massage before. No. And I feel like I would absolutely fucking love to get a massage.
Get a massage, man. Live a little. Like once a month, treat yourself. You know, all that snow cone money you have coming in, get yourself a massage. It's wonderful.
Okay.
Just don't get the extra.
I'll definitely put that on my list of things to do. Another thing, a list of things I need to do is I need to head to the Hamptons for a scouting report of the mini golf tournament. Kirk said he wants me to caddy for him. I looked up, caddying etiquette, everything, like what to wear. Kirk says he doesn't want me telling him anything to do with golf, which is good because I might have stretched the truth a little when he said, do you know how to read greens? And I was like, yeah, pretty sure that means like hills going that way, winds going that way. That might not be true. So I might have stretched the truth a little bit, but I like it when Kirk said no one reads Kirk Minahan's greens except Kirk Minahan. So that was good, but I'll definitely be making a trip down to, I don't know if they've announced where, like what the exact course is going to be.
Not the official location, deep in the Hamptons, which I don't know if you've ever been. I never have. I think you guys will have a good time. It sounds like it's going to be a great trip with the boys. Hopefully you guys get more
on a boat. You think we'll all be playing I'm on a boat by Lonely Island, me, Dave, and Kirk?
You guys, you and Dave just trap him on the boat and I want like all the questions, just to hang. Just to hang between you three would be fantastic. The conversation there. He would be so annoyed with the two of you. It'd be great. Need that.
Yeah. We'll see. We'll see how that goes. And I've never taken a ferry before either. So, it's exciting things.
Are you going to get seasick? Are you going to get a little motion sick there?
I don't think I will, but who knows? A couple other things. There was a talk today about like I don't know if you listened to this week's Dave Portnoy show. There wasn't much to pull from it. There was a little bit of talk about who is more influential, Charles Barkley, Alex Cooper. I did see a little pushback online of people saying like, oh, Dave and Kirk saying that like no one under 25 knows who Oprah is outrageous. I do think like a good chunk of people, but I just don't think, not necessarily under 25. I think under 18 and people before they hit the real world now, it's like everything is Jake Paul. If you're like everyone, like kids nowadays, they just have like the celebrity they latch onto, and then they kind of like roll around that world and they don't know who anyone else is. Like I remember like my sister was obsessed with One Direction. And then one day, like we all, like my family went to go see a movie and we're like, The Rock is in it. And he was pretty big at the time. She's like, I don't know who this is, but she could tell you who, like, you know, Niall Horan's like ex-girlfriend's butler's wife was, or something of that nature. Right. So I do think that it is true that there's not anyone like show-stoppingly famous in the world besides, I guess, Barack Obama and Donald Trump would probably be the two main. I don't know if you thought of anyone.
Well, I was thinking like anybody that would be K-pop, I think would probably be massive for most people, I think, in the country.
Most people, like I feel like if we're talking under 25 or under 18, yes,
right. But then also the parents, so you got to factor in the parents.
I don't know if any parent knows who K-pop. Like, I couldn't name you a single. Like, are we talking about like Psy, Gangnam Style?
No. Well, I'm talking like more recent than that. I can't name them. I just hear kids listening to it all the time, and they have an understanding of who that is. You know what I'm saying? And
Okay.
and Ed Sheeran is another one. Ed Sheeran caught some ricochet shot here from Kirk today. Ed Sheeran has bangers. He has hits.
Oh, he
So
does.
I don't want anybody putting any disrespect on Ed Sheeran's name because he's great too. He
Not
slaps
not trying to say anything, but people do say me and Ed Sheeran have some physical similarities in the way we look. Definitely,
I can see that for sure.
Definitely in like in our shape and everything.
Getting back to the Dave Portnoy show.
Yep.
It was an awful episode for me. Another stinker. But also too, like I feel like the Portnoy show is now just an infomercial for what Portnoy's got going on as far as like not really interesting, not like interesting inside Barstool. It's like inside Barstool, let me promote what's going on at Barstool and let me promote what I'm doing. Like it's not, it's like hit or miss right now. And Eddie and Portnoy are not getting along, but it's also not like interesting content either.
Yeah,
it's kind of a stinker.
I don't know. I mean, the Dave Portnoy show is really, especially when it comes to KMS, is really hit or miss. Sometimes there's great content. Like I think some of the best content of the past 6 months that the Dave Portnoy show, or maybe it was later than that, but it was like the K Marco thing is just like prime for Kirk Minahan. Yeah. It's just you couldn't ask for better than that. Having K Marco come in, be all pouty, just have Kirk react to that. And then sometimes we get them, talking about the Jersey Shore and how Dave got retweeted by this Jersey Shore person because he supports High Noon and everyone's going crazy about that. And
now so now who is yours? You mentioned your sister. Who was your celebrity growing up that was like your go-to?
It's got to be either Tom Brady or Eminem, which is embarrassing, I know, but it's got to be.
What's wrong with Eminem? What's wrong with Eminem?
It's every suburban middle class white kids guy.
He's a great rapper though. He is a great lyricist. Yeah, so
he might be up there with celebrities that people would know walking down the street.
Another guy who Kirk disrespected, by the way, because he is a rock and roll Hall of Famer too. So if this was my argument before, like the Lionel Richie thing, where Kirk was saying that guy was a Hall of Fame, a rock and roll Hall of Famer. If he is, Eminem is for sure, because Eminem has hits. He is
anything else you want to call out Kirk for?
No, that was just he's got a couple of pop takes that I got to call out. That's it. That's who I am. Have to do that.
Okay. And then I thought it was so, walking through the hallway with that fire alarm, it was so loud. It pierced your ears. Sitting in that studio was like a relief. Just walking through it was so loud, it hurt my ears. When it first came on, I thought it was like a caller just like fucking with us, or fucking with Kirk, being like wee woo, and then he was gonna say something like, I don't know, like it's the police trying to come get J-Rock or something of that nature. It didn't, when I listened back and watched back today, it did not go on for as long as it seemed in studio.
Probably felt like it was a long time. Yeah.
It felt like it was going on for 10 hours, but Kirk did a fantastic job. I think, I don't, this might be a weird statement. All-time ad read today for Milton's.
Oh, fantastic.
All-time ad read. I mean, it's up there with like the first ever, Getro Man or something in that sense. I mean, to have him, and then when him and Dave start going back and forth about when they're going to Milton's, it was great.
It was that ad read is right up there. There was another one I remember. I think it was like 2020. It was like later on in the show where Kirk did an ad read and he got caught up in a Wendy's story and talking about Wendy's and not eating at Wendy's. That was literally like 15 minutes long. It was beautiful. So anytime, the best ad reads you can get on this show are those ones where it just completely diverts into something else. It's awesome.
Yeah. Couple other things. Calls today, I think we're good. I think the calls have really stepped up in the past couple of weeks. I think like the fire chief is like to be on the line and then come up with that fire chief character is, I don't want to say brilliant, but it was definitely like, oh, this guy's thinking on his toes. It was very funny. Wolfman called in today, wasn't as good as his previous calls. I do think it kind of trailed off at the end where he was talking about like me talking with Blind Owl, things of that nature, but very good call. And then like things like, poor Dwight, poor Ike. He's got this. He wants to make this huge announcement. He wants to come out, say, "Hey, look, I will be running for president in 2024," and he's overshadowed by the blaring sirens. So,
that's too bad. You hate to hear that. I think that the calls have gotten better because it's during the day. Like I think the day calls are much better.
It's been that way for a while, though.
What's that?
It's been that way for a while, though.
Yeah, but I think the more consistent, like you can guarantee that for the most part, it's going to be a Monday, Wednesday, Thursday. Mm-hmm. For the most part, you're going to be able to count on that, and you can count on the timing. The timing's been pretty consistent too. And then also Wolfman, you got to call in a little less. Like the Wolfman's doing a little bit too much, where he's calling in a little too often.
And like I understand he wanted to call, like me, him, Mike went out to the Waltham high school tennis girls match to pick up some puss.
Yeah.
And so he wanted to call and then talk about how like Dave was fucking that chick in the porta potty and all that stuff. But it's especially callers on KMS. It's good to let them breathe for a while. It's good to get the reaction when they call in. When Kirk goes, it's great to hear from you, Mr. President, or it's great to hear from you, drunk Greg Hill. Like it's the calls that when they call every day, it's tough. So I'm like, I mean, obviously, great call on Monday. Good call last week from the Wolfman. I would just say try to let it breathe a little bit and make people miss. Make people go, ooh, I wonder if the Wolfman's calling it today. Not let's try to get to the Wolfman.
Right. And I would say too, if you'll allow me a little criticism of Dave Cullinane, my man's got a quick hook. He does like occasionally, like you got to let some of us, like he's got an itchy trigger finger where he's just cutting them right there. You got to let some of the boys get in there. I've heard him cut off a few good callers here in the last week or so. You got to let him go. But I understand. Listen, Dave Cullinane's going to do what he does.
It's tough. It's one of those where when you're not in that position, it's tough because like, do you let it go on and it just keeps on dragging on and on, or do you? It's kind of like the Bill Belichick thing. Do you let him go 10 seconds too early or 10 seconds too late?
Yeah. Well, sometimes that awkward silence or whatever they're doing that's going to be awkward is even better if he lets them go for a little bit too. But once Kirk says thank you, it's you're over. You got to cut it right there. Thank you. Also. So I don't know if there's anything else from today's show before we kind of get into what tomorrow's show is going to be. It's the first Thursday show post Clemmer. Officially, I mean, last week was Friday. You could say it filled the Thursday shot. How excited are you that Clemmer is behind now? Because I'm a Clemming, and it bummed me out. And I'm also Justin guy, so it bums me out that you guys don't like each other. But you're very excited about the Clemmer era being over, aren't you?
I'm excited to get a new voice in there, and I like the rotation. I like the non-regularity that it's going to bring to the show, and I think it's going to, if anything, even if the person sucks, it's going to bring great content for Mike and Kirk and Dave to react to the next week. Kind of let them stew on it like over the weekend. Like, can you believe big news? I am super excited that Jon Stewart will be filling in because that man is a fucking roast master. He can cut you off and tell you that he does not give a shit about what you are trying to say quicker than anyone. He will sit there and he will just be like, you should tweet that out. And Kirk's like, is this Jon Stewart's show now? Like, I hope Kirk knows that when Jon Stewart's in studio, I don't know if it's going to be the Kirk Minahan show. Jon Stewart, it might be the Jon Stewart show.
Jon gives zero fucks. You know what I like about Jon is not one of the great listeners of all time. And he's going to ask you a question, and he really just wants you to answer whether you've seen it or not, right? And then that's it. He does not give a shit what you actually think about that thing. He just keeps it moving. So an hour and a half of Jon Stewart in studio would be phenomenal. It's going to be a show. So I'm missing Clemmer for sure, but Jon Stewart is a perfect guy to get in there. We got to get like Montante and some others. There are some crazy people out there. I'm excited that things are opening up for the people and getting them in the studio.
Yeah, I'm definitely excited for whoever's coming in tomorrow. It's going to be good to just kind of get some fresh blood. I don't want to say they're big shoes to fill, but I think you said you're a Clemming. The best time to be a Clemming will probably be at 3 p.m. tomorrow after the show's dropped and you're able to listen to it. Because I do think that whoever fills that, there's a lot of rose-colored goggles, like looking back on people when they leave the show. So I do think that people are going to go, oh, clown, I missed the game. I missed this. I missed that. So we'll see about that. But I'm excited.
I'm also very nervous about what you have planned for him behind the scenes. I'm very nervous about this. That
whatever he's doing Thursday guest, or what I have planned for
the Clemmer, the third week of June here, as it rapidly approaches. I think I worry about what you're going to do to him, Justin. Just, I know you have a job to do. Just be kind.
We'll see. I'm not even. I have no idea what because I have no idea what this thing is or what it entails.
I have no idea.
So we'll see. But I do have orders. So that's it. Thank you. Is there anything else from today or looking forward to tomorrow's show?
I'm looking forward to tomorrow's show. Like we talked about, I'm excited to get on here with you, Justin. I love that you have this show back here. It's not in any way a direct competition with what I'm doing with my best friend, Minifandom, and what we're doing. I think we have a great show. I like this collaboration. I will say, I think you're better off if you can. I know it's hard to find people. I think you're better off with a 3-man if you can.
Okay.
You and 2 other guys, I think, would be a great show. No more. I think 3 is the sweet spot.
Okay.
And if you can, I do like that Twitter Spaces. I think that's a good combination. Getting people to collaborate a little bit is good. So
perfect.
Appreciate you.
Awesome. Make sure to check out Red. Follow him on Twitter. Do all that fun stuff. Check out Minifandom.
Thank you.
Thank you to Kirk, Dave, Mike. Great show today. And I will talk to you all tomorrow on the KMS Wrap-Up Show.